So if you take Shiva, for example, if I close my eyes and try to visualize an image, I can see him standing there in Kailasa, where Ganga is coming down forcefully, and he's catching that Ganga in his braids, jata as I call it, and then very slowly letting it down to the bhumi so that we can actually absorb that or use it without getting blown away by that big flow of energy. So the mind where he is sitting, what is this indicative of? You can say that, okay, in Kailasa if he is doing something, how does that affect me? I am sitting in Bengaluru, so Ganga will never come here. So how does it bother, how does it affect me? Well, the thing is, again, we are not talking about something external. We are talking about something internal. So what is it, if you look at Ganga, when Bhagirath brought Ganga to earth, right? It actually comes from Vishnupada. From Vishnupada, what flows down is actually a huge torrential flow of good energy. That flow of energy is so big that we cannot actually handle that. Our minds cannot handle that. Now, before we go further, we have to say, what does it mean to say that flow of energy is coming from Vishnupada inside me? Where is this Vishnupada? Well, the answer to that is actually in Purusha Sukta, where it says that in the Vishwa, the Pada is the component of society which has Shudra Manobhava. And Shudra Manobhava means those who offer service to others when they are in need. We are not talking about any jati or anything, we are talking about the nature of a person. If a nature of a person is such that he is always willing and eager to offer service to anybody who is in need and does that as a service to God, that such a person is a Shudra. And that is something that all of us have to imbibe in ourselves. So as we do things as a service to God through society, the energy that comes from that to us internally, we may not be able to handle that. So the mind, for it to be able to handle it, Shiva in the mind, sitting in the mind, he has to stop that. So the question is, how does Shiva stop it? Well, as you notice, if you look at any picture of Shiva, you will see that his jata is all spread and the Ganga is caught in that. So if you think of the jata, which is, hair that is matted, right? So the tapasvis, rishis, they don't comb their hair, right? They never cut their hair, they don't comb their hair. They just go dip in the river and all that. So their hair becomes very matted. That is what you call jata. So the jata of Shiva is representative of the tapas that he does. Now I may not be able to do tapas like Shiva. I know I cannot. But in my own humble way, if I actually do tapas, and tapas here means very deep thinking. So even when I offer something to somebody or I serve somebody, whatever I do, right? If I think about it deeply, that is tapas. And from that tapas, you get tapas shakti. And from tapas shakti comes mantra shakti. Mantra, that is the mind related thing, right? So what happens is your mind will get that mantra shakti coming from tapas shakti, and that is too forceful for us to handle. So what Shiva has to do, and in turn what we have to do by his blessing, is that whatever comes, we need to think deeply about it. The moral of the story is this: when you do something good, do offer service, Hariseva, service to God, through society, through people in need, right? We cannot just become arrogant and say, oh, look at me, I'm great and all these things. So when you do service, you cannot become arrogant and say that, oh, look at me, I'm so great, I do this, I do that and so on. With humility, you do service to society and think of it as a service to God, whatever you do. Then what happens is that you can do tapas on, that is, think very deeply about every single karma that you are doing. So it is that deep thinking about the karma you are indulging in that actually provides a safety mechanism for you when this energy starts flowing into you. So it's not that Shiva is standing inside with his jata flown. It is your own mind with the tapas, it is giving breaks, and so then energy flows into you in a manner that is manageable. And this is why he is called Gangadhara. Gangadhara means someone who adorns Ganga in his hair, right? So that's one aspect of it.